SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 295. I am here for your almost December, but still November, kinda late, but still right on time podcast host, Spencer Presley. And today is a very special episode. You may be asking, why is it special? It's past the holidays, nothing is going on in the world of news. To which I would say, you're correct. And then I would just stop replying afterwards, because you're right, there's really not a lot going. Like, this is how you know when it's slow news. The biggest Atlus news story of the week is that 13 Sentinels did not get another port announced for its third anniversary. But you know who did get something for the third anniversary of 13 Sentinels? Today's special guest, Patrick. Patron Patrick, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Now,
I have
no
no idea what you're referring to, so...
Did you send Vanillaware a holiday ham or a festive bouquet of flowers or fruits and chocolates to celebrate 13 Sentinels turning 3?
I mean, I don't know. If I sent chocolates to them, I think I might get back, like, an illustration of a bunch of dwarves, like, wrestling half naked.
Can you imagine, like, oh god, I always forget the name. What's the, I know the first name is George, but I'll be like the last name. What's the, artist who does all the Vanillaware illustrations? Do you remember his last name?
Is it Kamitani?
Yeah.
It's something like
he
that.
Would send you back the most detailed feet pics you've ever, like, it would basically just be like, I want, unironically, I want Vanillaware to, like, just introduce Quentin Tarantino to their games just to see what he would think.
He would like some of the promo pictures, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll send Quentin Tarantino the Odin Sphere. No, we'll send him the Dragon's Crown art book. He'll get a kick out of that.
I was gonna say that's the one where is it the Amazon who's like has her foot on the?
It's
on the
basically
table?
80% of the cover is just her foot. Everyone else is like the side note.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Patrick, thank you for joining us. As we realized through old Discord messages, basically 12 months after your last appearance.
Is that what it is? Wow.
I mean, time has no meaning anymore, to be fair. But yeah, so I guess we can actually talk about it. Do you have any opinions on 13 Sentinels turning 3?
Doesn't feel like it was 3 years ago. I could say that.
Well, it was 2 for us because we're slow.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's probably why then. Okay.
Can I give a hot take?
Okay.
I don't think you should be allowed to celebrate every anniversary of your game. They're making an event. The first year, I get it. It just came out for the rest of the world. Understandable. The second anniversary, you announced a port. Understandable again, I guess.
Yep.
This time it was literally just, hey guys, here's merchandise and a concert.
I mean, a concert's pretty cool.
It's cool, but my immediate... So yeah, Vanillaware announced a Vanillaware orchestral concert. And would you like to guess my first complaint with the concert? You're like, how could you complain? It's just music.
Yeah, how could you complain about it?
It is only the Vanillaware games published by Atlus. So there will be no Muramasa, which is the big one, and then especially Big F in the chat because it just got a re-release, no Grim Grimoire.
Yeah, that's really weird. Huh, why would that even be?
I'm mostly just sad because, like, Muramasa is, like, one of my favorite soundtracks from them. Like, that game's got an amazing soundtrack.
Honestly, this sounds kind of bad, but, like, Muramasa is the only one I actually remember any of the music from.
I yeah, because 13 Sentinels doesn't have a great OST in my opinion, outside of like the one or two main themes you think of. Like the battle music is pretty forgettable. Some of the story music is okay, but like it's very much like meant to be background noise. It's not like memorable.
Yeah,
Memorable.
that's kind of what I think about Vanillaware music. It's good in the game, but I don't
Odin
know.
Sphere has some good tracks. Odin Sphere has some good stuff there, but that's definitely very similar to the kind of music you would be getting in Muramasa. But I always forget about that one. There's actually I was playing a game. I forgot the guy who does the music for Vanillaware also did the music in Tactics Ogre. So like his little like his logo popped up in the opening credits for Tactics Ogre Reborn, and I was like, whoa, I like totally had wiped that from my memory that he did anything with Tactics Ogre.
I will say though, I'm kind of an unfair judge of this because I find as I get older, the more and more I'm like, just stop noodling on your instrument. Just give me a fun pop song.
Oh, I have a lot of music questions for you for a later topic, but yeah, my big complaint with like the over milking of an anniversary for me isn't to be like no fun allowed. It's mostly it's like why are we celebrating the anniversary of this game every year when we're not doing this kind of thing for every other game you've released? You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, I would love... Like, I feel like they've already done more to market and celebrate 13 Sentinels with very little returns worldwide. Because, like, they announced the game had finally sold over 800,000 copies, which is good. But, like, it's 800,000 copies on 2 platforms with millions of people worldwide. Like, I would have at least kind of hoped it would have been closer to 1 million by now, but... My other thing with it is, like, this was kind of their last chance. And, I mean, obviously, it'll happen eventually, but where's their PC ports, dude? Like, Vanillaware is just scared of putting any of their games on PC. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I wonder why that would even be. Because, like, I don't. They don't strike me as the kind of game that would only, work on a console. Because I mean, the ports of all the games are great.
Mm-hmm.
So I seems to me like it would be a no-brainer.
For me, it's only really like more confusing when you think about like Grim Grimoire coming out. It came out last summer in Japan, and we'll be getting it next spring in the West. I was so certain NIS would be like, just put this on PC. Like, that's their biggest game. That's like, why is this game that you are controlling a cursor not on PC? Grim Grimoire is like the big RTS game of theirs that's like, why is this not on a cursor, for the love of God? So, again, I'm sure it'll happen, but like my big thing that always kind of explains it, but it's explained, but also it's not really a good enough excuse for me to not question it. It's because they've never outsourced any of their ports. They've done every port. They ported Muramasa from Wii to Vita. They even did the Switch port of 13 Sentinels, so it's like, they're not a company who just hands off their code to someone else to do it. But then also it's like, you've got to have seen at this point, like, if every other big and small Japanese company are putting their games on PC eventually, it's like, why not do this? Especially with Atlus and Sega having seen so much success from this. Like, obviously they're not owned by Atlus, but it's like, you would think that the publisher would at least kind of give them a direction of like, hey, this might be a good idea to release this.
I don't know. The impression I get from Vanillaware is that they're really precious with their stuff. Like, they only want them, handling it. And I think they probably want to move on. Like, they've made one port for 13
They were probably
Sentinels,
complaining the entire time
on.
for the Switch one. They were like, God, I can't believe we got to go back to this old ass code.
Well, but I mean, like, it runs better than the PS4 version, though. So, like, they clearly put their all into it.
I like to imagine that at one of these anniversaries, maybe on the 7th anniversary of 13 Sentinels, they'll finally bring out that like old debug code of like, because I don't think people realized how far along that original Vita version got until they canceled it. Like, that game was basically content complete.
I mean, they announced it so long ago. I had to imagine, like, and most of it was done. I would bet.
It'd be like we could release it on Vita, but it would only be the battle sections. It'd be like, no, let's cancel it then. Let's just cancel it then.
Yeah. I mean, not that they were bad, but like that's not.
It's the worst part. It's the worst part of the game. The combat is the worst part of that game, which is a shame because it's a fucking game about mechs. It's like, what's the weird one? I feel like that's the 13 Sentinels is the weird inverse of people who complained about Digimon Survive. Like, there were a lot of people when Digimon Survive came out who were like, I wanted more gameplay, but it was too much story. Whereas I feel like 13 Sentinels, if you just told people, hey, we're going to replace all the gameplay with more story, they'd be like, that's fine. You can just take that out.
Yeah. At least, 13 Sentinels lets you do it at your own pace.
Yes, I did but I mean, again, that goes kind of back to, there might be a problem with your gameplay when I'm pushing back doing it until the absolute last chance I can to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of doing the same thing. I ended up doing a lot of the combat last.
But
because I wanted to continue the story. I wanted to know what happened next.
Ironically, 13 Sentinels is one of those weird ones where that was one of those deals I ignored on Black Friday of the Switch version got down to $30 and I was like, even still, I was like, I'll hold. I bought so many copies of 13 Sentinels recently on PS5 for $5 brand new that I'm like, you know what? I don't think the Switch version's selling out anytime soon.
I was gonna say, Spencer, I'm surprised you didn't buy 7 copies of it.
Well, I bought as many as I could when they were $5. So again, that kind of goes back to me not being impressed by them announcing 800K. I'm like, let's be real. They announced that's how many copies were sold. How many of those were sold to Spencer at GameStop for $5, though? That gets less impressive when you think about it like that. Well, actually, I guess we can kind of talk about that, because I'm between shows of, last time I did a show was literally 2 weeks ago, just because of, how ahead of time I recorded them all. Did you do any Black Friday shopping, or were any deals interesting you at all?
You will probably not be surprised about this. I only bought Black Friday stuff from one place.
Play Asia.
And no. You could probably buy the stuff at Play Asia, but no. I brought it from Crunchyroll.
Oh! I would not have guessed that.
No, but you would probably not be surprised by what I bought. I bought VTuber figures.
Oh, which ones?
I got just 2. Just 2 Hololive ones. Okayu and Miko, if you
I do know who those are. I'm around enough people that I know who they are, even though I never watch any of them. So, Patrick, I want you to know, I think about you pretty often when it comes to VTubers, especially because this one came up when their full album came out. But when is it Mori or Mari?
It is Mori, yes.
When Mori dropped their full album, I want you to know, watching Twitter basically go to war of is this the best or worst music of all time, I just kept laughing at the idea of I hope that you just are so because we've not talked about this, but it's something about VTuber music. It's the most polar. I've never met anyone who just listens to it and has no reaction. It's either you really are into it or you think it's actual poison to your ears. It's very one or two sided.
Well, here's the thing about it that I find interesting. Most of the composers of the actual music are just people who used to make Vocaloid music. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the reaction to VTuber music is exactly the same as the reaction to Vocaloid music.
I'm going to say this, though. I don't think it has the appeal that Vocaloid music had because it's not a real person singing it. I think that's true. I think because you can put a face to a name even though it's not their real face, where no one was ever dunking on a bad Miku song. They're damn, Miku, this song's trash, because she didn't have any say in it, man. So, it's one of those funny things of, I don't think we'll ever, and I would love it to be proven wrong, I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we see, a VTuber rhythm game.
I think we will. I think that's coming someday.
HoloLive presents Project Diva V.
It could happen. I mean, if you look at Krone's like big birthday concert stream that she did, like the number of guests that were just video game related on that was ridiculous. Like they had a whole bunch of Sonic team on it. They had like the president of Level 5. And then
it was a little weird how many people were did this thing of like it was one of those things of like I hope almost like all of these people were just genuinely that into it, because it was like I was surprised how many legitimately big names were there.
And Yuji Horii was there, like.
Well, the other Yuji was in prison.
Crazy.
He wasn't able to make it. He got the invite though.
Oh, Yuji Naka?
Yuji Naka was invited, but I think he was arrested because of Dragon Quest jail at that point.
Yeah, well, he was busy making some inside deals. Yeah.
I'm just saying this right now. We're not going to cover the Yuji Naka news. I'm fully in the camp of I 100% believe there is a 50-50 chance that he might have been set up by Square because of how much Square hates him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That whole situation is just crazy enough that I believe someone could be like, he screwed us over with Balan Wonderworld so much, we've got to take him down. We'll do insider trading for $10,000.
I don't know, though. Like, I've heard enough bad stories about him where it kind of...
Are you saying the man who brought us Let's Tap and Rodea the Sky Soldier may not have had our best intentions in mind?
I mean...
Are you saying the guy who erased from history a producer of Sonic games from his anniversary picture out of pettiness might not be the nicest guy? Do you remember when he did that? That was like such a wild thing of like, he just said like, hey, happy anniversary to Sonic whatever. I'm going to erase this guy next to me and hope no one notices.
Yeah, he's I mean, it's like how he keeps saying, or well, I don't think he said it recently, but like he used to say a lot, like, "Oh, I'm the father of Sonic the Hedgehog." Who's Naoto Oshima? Forget about him.
Never heard of him. Never heard. I think he made that Sega Sonic the Arcade game. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he take credit for he's the dad of Guy from Knights? He could take that. Yeah. That could be his.
Yeah, people don't even remember his name, but yeah.
Oh, shout out though. Speaking of Balan, I did pick up Balan for $5, brand new.
Have you played it?
Not yet. I did play the demo, so I can get that exclusive demo unlock. At least I'll have that.
Oh, there you go.
Did you? Now you're a big Sega guy. Like I would say, you're probably. I don't know who out of the two of us. Who would you say? I feel like you're the bigger Sega fan, but like, where would you put me versus you in terms of like big Sega fandom?
I don't know. I'd say I don't know. The thing that pops to mind right now is I enjoyed the new Sakura Wars and you didn't.
No, I have taste. I've never known anyone. Oh. The best part, you want to know what the best part of Sakura Wars was? It eventually let people on that team make a good port with the P5R ports. That's the best thing that came out of Sakura Wars.
Oh, well. We're just going to have to disagree with that one.
No, we don't have to disagree. It's the worst performing game in the entire series. Like, it absolutely bombed the chance of Sakura Wars ever coming back. Ever. I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yet they still, like, put it in surveys and stuff. It was like, oh yeah, do you guys like Sakura Wars?
The surveys. I'm waiting for the day where someone at Sega can finally say, guys... this game is back because of a survey. We did it for you. Like, honestly...
wasn't that Soul Hackers too?
But again, we never were like, well, we got 20,000 people saying they want Soul Hackers, so now we did Soul... Like, they can say it's because of surveys, but it's like, we don't know the numbers, though. Like, what did they see that made them want to do Soul Hackers 2 as opposed to Devil Summoner 3? You know?
Well, I do feel like part of it was probably just the developers wanted to do
Yeah,
it.
like
I gotta imagine.
I'm on the camp of the developer said, "What do you want to do?" And then they said, "Oh, cool, I've got a couple of thousand surveys that say that game should do okay." But then, honestly, the best part, like, I think if it was really only due to the survey, then if Soul Hackers 2 underperforms, like, in a year from now, like, on everything, Sega should just come out and say, guys, we can't do these surveys anymore. We're like Morbiusing them with the game of like we're telling them we want these games and we're never buying them. So it's like, what are you doing to us?
Well, I gotta imagine that like they get really bad responses from the surveys because now, well, Atlus lets everybody do it, I think, still, but like
No,
Sega,
no.
you have to be
Those are
like
still region locked. The Atlus ones are
Are
still
they?
region
Oh,
locked.
okay.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm talking about is the Sega ones, you have to be part of a mailing list for that. And it's not like a mailing list that you sign up for. It's a mailing list. They're like, you answer this questionnaire and we'll see if you can be part of the Sega Insights
Yeah,
Lab.
wasn't the Sega 60th anniversary surveys and like classes like originally locked behind that until they changed it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I mean, like, I'm part of that because I was like, oh, I take those surveys all the time anyway, even though they probably don't mean anything. But hey, I'll spend 5 minutes on it and tell them that I love Virtual On.
If I had, it's Matt, like the really crazy thing. If I had one thing to say I'm mad at Sega for recently, I feel like it's something that most people didn't even know happened. I'm more mad than I probably should be at how absolutely fucking terrible they handled the Monkey Ball Banana Mania DLC. Are you aware that all of the DLC for Monkey Ball has been delisted now?
What?
They delisted all of the DLC, even the one they own the rights to, the Morgana DLC, delisted. Monster Rancher, delisted. Hello Kitty, delisted. All of it is gone in less than 12 months.
That's
The
really strange.
worst part, they never made a public notice about it, and all they ever did was occasionally retweet from the Japanese account, no English, announcing that you had until this day to buy the DLC.
That's really weird.
Yeah, I'm assuming I've heard Monkey Ball sold really bad, which sucks because like that's a great port. It was really cheap. It was on everything. It ran amazingly, but I've heard it sold really, really bad. Now, it did come out at a busy time, so it could be due to that, but, like, to just basically start delisting everything related to the game, I think is not a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't buy it, but, like, It does seem like there was a lot of stuff that came out at the time, I think.
I think we now know who's the better Sega fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you've lost
you're right.
I mean, I'm saying you would rather play PS4 Sakura Wars
than
Banana Mania.
Yes, I would.
Damn. This is why Nagoshi left. It's because of people like you.
It probably is. I mean, he hasn't worked on a Yakuza game in a while.
Here's the real question, Patrick. Where is the PC port of Sakura Wars?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Well, where's any port of Sakura Wars?
I'll take an HD remaster for $20 of Summer Sakura Wars. That's what I'll take. And nothing else. Nothing less.
What, is that like one of the Game Boy ones?
I think it is. I think it's one of the really obscure. I just pulled the most out of. It was either that or So Long, My Love, and I thought, no, that's too easy of a pick.
Yeah, I think that's one of the Game Boy ones.
So
that's not like one of the Game Boy Tetris spin-offs, is it?
It might be. I mean, watch it be like the Wonder Swan one for all I know. For God's sakes. Before we move on from Sega, though, we'll do this then as a poll and let the audience decide who wins here. What is your most obscure Sega item in your house? So it can be a game, but it can also be like memorabilia. The only limitation, because we've talked about this before in the show, it can't be your cool Sega sign with Sonic on it.
Damn. Okay. Well, I have a figure of Raiden from Virtualon.
I'm trying to remember what it looked like. I know I've seen it.
It's not very big, but like it's one of those like what am I want to call it a gotcha box, but that's not what it's actually called.
It's like it's bigger than those ones you would get from the gotcha machines, right? Or is it around those size?
It's a trading figure. So
oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So
like,
it'd be like a prize figure box.
A little smaller, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I bought one of those, and I got the character I wanted in the color I wanted. I was so ecstatic, and it was like, it's Virtualon, I'll take it. I don't care. But it's the character I play as, so it's awesome.
I'm gonna pick. I've got some weird ones. I'm gonna throw my hat into. That's a tough one. My brain wanted to say Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Vita, but I don't think that's going to impress many people, since that's now on everything. But I will say... Probably... See, all my Sega stuff is really weird. I feel like I almost purposefully don't buy the really popular Sega stuff, and I'm just like, you know what I'm into? Shenmue 3, baby. Man, that's really tough. Because I'm trying to think what would be like a good one.
Used to have like really old games, like old Genesis. Old 32X games.
Yeah, my I know, my collection of Night Trap. I have I've got like every vinyl, every platform port, every PC version, basically every modern version of Night Trap I own physically for no reason. I have an unironic love of Night Trap.
That's pretty good. I know how I can out Sega you. I have a 32X.
I'm trying to think, like, what's a game on 32X I'd be jealous of? Like, the only thing I would want is, like, maybe to listen to Knuckles Chaotix. I wouldn't even want to play it. I would just want to listen to it.
Have you actually played it, though?
Yeah, I've played Knuckles Chaotix. It's fine.
Yeah, it's decent.
You know what you should get to rub in my face? You should have been like, I have the 32X port of Night Trap. Then you could be like, I don't have that.
No, I have two games. Knuckles Chaotix.
Wait,
and,
let me guess it.
Okay.
Is it first party Sega or third party? Which I know is hard because Sega also published a lot of third party stuff.
Let me double check really quick. I actually do not remember.
It's not Doom, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. The fact that I'm not 100% sure should actually be kind of a hint.
Is it an import or is it a NTSC?
No, it's an American game.
Virtual Fighter?
No, I have that for a lot of systems, but not 32X.
Shout out to.
I say a lot. It's only on Sega Saturn.
I mean, it's on Genesis.
On the Sega Astro.
It's on Genesis.
Oh yeah, I do have it.
That terrible version.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, do you remember when Sega brought back Virtual Fighter last year and 5 people played it?
Yeah.
They like literally tried to make it an esport. Because I think in America it was called Virtual Fighter Final Showdown, or like Ultimate Showdown, and in Japan it is straight up just called Virtual Fighter Esports.
Well, yeah, that's like the last Puyo Puyo game was Puyo
Puyo Champions.
No, it was esports.
In Japan it was esports, and over here it was Champions. Although thank God we got Puyo Puyo Tetris too. Champions would have been a really sad note to end on.
I will give you a hint for the other 32X game I have. It is not developed by Sega, but is developed by a company that has made Sega games.
There's not a lot on 32X. That's like the. It's not an FMV game, right?
No, no.
Is it a popular Sega 32X game?
Yeah. That's definitely like one of the ones that people think of.
Star Wars Arcade?
No, that would be pretty cool, but no, I don't have that one.
It'd be funny if it was just something dumb like fucking. It'd be funny if it was just like NBA Jam.
Yeah, no. I mean, NBA Jam's a good game, but that's
It's not Virtual Racer or Virtual Fighter.
Nope.
What could it be? It's not a sports game, right?
Mm-mm.
Is it a fighting game?
Nope.
I've got no idea. Yeah, you gotta lay it on me.
It's a Colibri.
What is that?
Oh, you don't know about this?
I might
Okay.
I might know it, but not know it. How do you spell it?
I already misspelled it. Kolibri.
By the way, before I forget, have you seen, and this is Atlus related, so people won't be mad at us, did you see that, I forget the name, Retrobit is doing the Valis Genesis collection?
I did see that, yeah. I ordered the Switch Valis collection on for limited run.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. The Genesis games are not on the Valis collection.
Really?
These are the first time they are being released, and they are not part of that collection.
But Spencer, the Genesis versions are the bad versions of those games.
Well, listen, I just told you I own multiple copies of Night Trap. Do you think I'm buying? Holy moly! Also, I'm surprised I forgot you own Colibri, because you have a CIB, right?
I mean, what?
Complete in box?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot you had that. That's the game, if you ever remember, like, I'm sure it's been posted by, like, that weird or cool box art Twitter account. It's just got that extreme close-up of a hummingbird.
Yes, yep.
I should have not forgotten that one. But no, that's a rare game, man. That, like, without the box goes for $200.
Damn. I bought that for $50.
Well, hey, let me tell you about a little company called Wada Games. That's crazy. I forgot all about that because that's a shmup, right?
Yeah. So, it's a shmup made by the people who made Echo.
Yes. Which, by the way, that guy is working on another game. Ironically, it started as a spiritual successor to Echo, as an exclusive for the Amico, but it is coming to other systems. But I actually do like that guy's work. He does a lot of really cool things.
I don't know what he's done outside of those two games.
He's done a couple of other like attempts at indie games, but he's never really done full big projects. Like this new spiritual successor to Echo is going to be his first big game in like 20 years almost.
Is it a game with a dolphin?
It is, yeah. It's basically, like I said, it's basically just Echo 2.
It's called Repeat.
Is it called that? I've heard about it forever ago. I would have believed you. But yes, we're gonna move away. Ironically, Pat, this entire conversation started from us talking about VTubers on Black Friday.
Right.
Which rather was that it? Was all you bought was VTuber figures from the Crunchyroll store? Did you see that Crunchyroll has a Game Boy game they're making with limited run?
I don't even know what to think of that.
It's more of a thing of, like, is that out? Like, is the ROM for that out? Or is it one of those weird, like, we're only going to make it available first with the actual Game Boy cart?
Well, I'm just like, is there a Switch version?
I'm sure they'll eventually port it to other stuff, but, like, I'm out of the, like, Crunchyroll realm of, like, I don't, like, because, like, what's her name? Mari or something? Like, what's the Crunchyroll mascot's name?
I don't even know.
But like,
I have no idea.
Do people buy Crunchyroll merch with her? Like, is she a big deal?
I don't know. She was a VTuber for a very short amount of time.
How did Play Asia's VTuber outlast Crunchyroll's VTuber? That's what I want to know.
because it wasn't very good.
Damn.
Oh, Hime, that's her
Hime,
name.
yeah, Hime's quest or Hime's adventure is basically just like a Legend of Zelda 8-bit like clone or whatever. But yeah, I saw that and it was like, huh. I don't know if anyone wants that, but I also don't really follow the homebrew Game Boy market.
Well, I don't know. Most people I know who have Crunchyroll are just like, I mean, I know they're a horrible company, but like,
They're the only one left. What do you mean? It's either that
they're the
or
only one left.
it's literally them and that one that AMC bought, who I always forget the name of.
Oh, High Dive?
Yeah, High Dive. It's them and High Dive.
Man, I wish High Dive was the one, but you know.
I appreciate High Dive because whenever I see them online, they're always very aware that they are always they're known as the not Crunchyroll company. They're very aware of their place.
I know, it just kind of gets me though. Like people are like, "Oh, Crunchyroll doesn't pay their employees," and you know, and I agree with all these things, but they always go like, "Okay, now it's time to pirate anime." But High Dive's right there, guys. Like,
I'm at least optimistic. Right, I'm at least more optimistic that now that Sony has bought them, it hopefully gets a little bit better. Because I never heard anything that bad about Funimation.
No, I don't know. I've only heard more and more of just like, you know, since the takeover has pretty much just been whatever Funimation did, we're switching it over to what Crunchyroll does.
As we're just sitting here being like, can I just watch Chainsaw Man and be happy, please? That's all I would like to do. Are you ingesting any Chainsaw Man into your life, Pat?
I'm not, actually.
I feel like you'd like it, especially like this was a weight was sold to me. I should have like leaned into it more. It's really like if you're someone who's really into like cinema. I forget the name of the artist, but man, that dude like takes a lot of really interesting like cues from other like bits of like Western cinema. Well, just not even Western, like just cinema in general. Like it's very good.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, oh, everybody's watching it. And I don't know. I see clips from it.
It is that thing that sucks of like it because it is like the big thing. I almost feel like that turns people off. Of like because it is so popular, it's then gonna make people be like, I don't really know, because like it's like recommend.
I don't know
It's like recommending someone watch like Spy Family. Like they're just gonna see it as like, oh, it's the big like marketing thing right now.
Well, I love Spy Family, but
I'll tell you what, my knowledge of Spy Family only comes from out of context watching of like clips in the background when Mary and her sister, because like they always like watch it together on like, what does it release on Saturdays?
Yeah.
So Saturdays. Like when they're watching it, I just get clips with like no context. So like literally, it's just literally like even like this week, I randomly leaned in while the like spy lady who came to like take over their family was like having the love moment, and I was it's like, man, I don't ever know what to expect with this show, but I kind of appreciate that about it.
And here I thought you were gonna just like say, oh well, Anya's doing something cute again.
No, I mean I guess you could find that cute. I mostly just remember the weird like hissing noise she made and laughed way too hard from it.
It's really good.
You know, weirdly enough, like the clips I've seen with it, like I think this kind of goes to like who I am in terms of how I like to ingest a lot of it. The anime of Spy Family has just made me want to read the manga of just be like, I'd like to just read it more than watch it. I'm just like, it's great. It's a great looking show. The voice cast and everything is awesome, but it is that thing of like, it's like, oh, I bet this would be great to like see like, because like it's everywhere. Like it's a super. It's like you can go to Target and just find every copy of it on the shelf.
Yeah, I will tell you, like, I would see it everywhere. And my picture, and, you know, that I would think of what the series was actually about would be like, you know, a family full of spies. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then when I heard the concept, you know, what it actually is about, I'm like, I don't know if that's better or worse than what I imagined it to be.
Yeah, hard to say. Now, my last Spy Family question before we get into something. Because Mary and her sister can't answer this for me, but maybe you can. The dog has to be named after James Bond, right? That's why he's called Bond.
Well, okay. So there's a show that Anya watches on TV, It's called Bond Man. Yes, I know, and that's what the
Starring
dog's
Timothy
actually
Dalton,
named
Bond
after.
Man.
Yeah, that's actually what the dog's named after.
That's too funny. Also, I appreciate the fact that the dog is what seems to be voiced by a 90-year-old Japanese man.
Both.
Now I've not heard the dog dubbed, but I'm gonna assume it. There's no way it's as good as the Japanese dog, Borf.
Well, I mean, you just did it.
Is that it? It's
You
just
did it
it's just an
perfect.
American guy saying Borf.
I mean, I haven't watched it.
Um,
I
we didn't give the dub much of a chance in this house. We basically heard Anya's voice and we all went, nope, I'm okay. We'll keep it. We'll stick to Japanese in this house.
I can't imagine Anya's like any of her delivery working in English. Just the way.
Have you ever heard Paimon's delivery for Genshin Impact in English?
I actually really like the English voice for Paimon.
Well, I'm got good news for you. It's basically that.
Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll watch it then.
This is how you call not selling blowing up in my face, but that's okay. But kind of.
No, just on a little tangent there, I think Paimon's voice in every language is really good. Like they did a really good job of the casting in Japanese as well.
Well, they kind of had to, considering she's voice acting for two genders.
That's true.
My favorite thing was explaining, because they were like, why do the boy and girl never talk more? Be like, because that would be twice as much voice acting. Just give Paimon all the lines and then you're set.
Yes.
But yeah, so believe it or not, we are tying in our Black Friday conversation to one of the main reasons I brought Patrick on here. Now, Patrick, a little indie game recently came out. Some would say not the best game ever, because that goes to Sakurai Maidens. By the way, how's Sakurai Maidens so far? Because it's been out for like, what, one day?
Samurai Maiden.
Yeah, that too. Sorry, that's the sequel. I leaked it early.
It comes out... No, it came out in Japan tomorrow. It comes out over here in a week.
I thought it was already... I was on the PlayStation Store, and after I scrolled through 9 pages of furry hentai porn, I think I thought it had released early.
I'm gonna be honest. You know me. Granted, this was not the case the last time I was on the show, I think, but I have, converted into full PC gamer man. So
yeah, like you've got to have just sold your consoles off at this point, right? Like, what is your PlayStation doing outside of being a paperweight?
Playing Blu-rays.
It's the 4K. No, yeah, because you don't even have the PS5. So yeah, it's you probably don't even have any like 4K Blu-rays, right?
No, I just recently got a 4K TV.
Let me tell you,
a few months back.
We talked about this on the SMTN Discord a little bit recently. 4K Blu-rays are no joke. If you're into Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays do make a difference if you have the TV for it. It's very good.
The problem is, like, I've never... Well, we're finally starting to get them, but, like, it wasn't until, like, this year that we actually got anime 4K Blu-rays.
Anime is still very few and far between, unfortunately. But, like, when you see them in 4K and it makes a difference, like... I saw in theaters, because I know that one was, I'm pretty sure, a 4K version. One Piece in 4K felt very, very cool, but Akira at home in 4K is absolutely sick. Because, like, with that being all the original cells and stuff basically already in 4K. Like,
oh, they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Oh,
It'd be one that'd be great, but I don't know if they'd ever have the money for it or if the assets are good enough. Paprika would probably be fucking amazing in 4K.
Wow, I can't remember the last time I've even heard somebody mention Paprika.
Paprika is up there as like my top 3 movies of all times. I love.
It's
Paprika.
a really good movie. It's
it'll never be the
Inception.
It'll never be the Dream Machine. That'll forever be like my movie. I am sad Satoshi Kon died before making. Like the Dream Machine sounded so cool. Actually, if anyone out there is a fan of Satoshi Kon, we did get an English art book of his works, and they actually did have concept art from the Dream Machine in there with commentary, which was very like there wasn't a lot, but like it kind of laid out what the movie would have been a little bit more. Because basically, ironically, Dream Machine just sounded like Satoshi Kon said, "All right, Christopher Nolan, I'll make Inception now." But he did have a couple of interesting twists with it. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever get it. But if we do, I'd be very excited. But Patrick, good news, you were correct. Samurai Maiden is out by the time everyone hears this now, December 1st in Japan. But you know what else comes out this week in Japan? I totally missed.
What's that?
Death Mark 2. You're allowed to be like, I'm sorry, what's Death Mark 1? Okay, so it's by...
Yeah, well, yeah, that too.
It's by Experience, the guys who are famous for ripping off SMT. But they did a horror visual novel series called Death Mark. And that was on Vita, PS4, PC, and Switch. And Axis put it out over here. And then the sequel was called NG. And now this one, the third volume, is just called Death Mark 2.
They made, what's that game called? Lost Child, I think?
No, that was Katakawa had that with another publisher. Experience did the stuff like they did the Ray Gigants. They did so many. Like honestly, it all bleeds together, especially with how many there are. But yeah, like they did the Lost in not Lost in Biz. There are so many. Believe me, yes. My brain is just running blanks for it. But yes, they did a lot of those SMT legs. The only reason I know it's not the Lost Child is because that was... who did that one? I remember their name. Lost Child... Yeah... Dev... But yes, if you like horror games and... what is it? If you like horror games and visual novels, the Death Mark series is very, very good. That is by Krim, who I don't think actually ever did anything after this, because Lost Child did not actually do that well.
That doesn't surprise me.
Krim, what a name.
It's memorable. When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Well, you remember what they... Well, actually, no, to be fair, they did put out a game. They actually did the port for El Shaddai on PC.
Yeah, which Lost Child is apparently in the same universe.
That was originally the only reason I knew about Lost Child, was because I'm one of the 5 El Shaddai fans.
I'm still excited to get that whenever it's on a Steam sale and I'm not playing something else.
Yeah, whenever I hear people who are like, yeah man, 2022 had like no games, I'm like, I don't know what year these people were living in. There were so many games this year.
Don't people say that every year?
I feel like this year especially because there wasn't a big console war game. Like, think about it. Like, people out there literally think the only big games this year are God of War and Elden Ring, which could not be further from the truth. Because you know what? Because you know what else we got this year? Sonic Frontier. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're 50... how many minutes in this? We're 51 minutes into the show, and we're into the main reason I dragged Patrick on here. Sonic Frontiers. Which, believe it or not, I don't know if this surprises you or does not, I got asked by so many people the week Sonic came out if I'm going to be covering it.
That really surprises me, but then again, no offense to you. I love the show, you know that.
Who is your audience? That's what I want to know.
Right, yeah, well, that's the thing. But also, like, I feel like SMT content on this show is probably only about 50% of the actual content.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, again, it's like, what am I talking about? The run button? That's the later topic. That's the second topic.
But you don't understand, Spencer. That, like, saved me an entire hour of gameplay time.
That's so true. It was a good patch. We'll talk about the run patch later, but I grabbed Sonic for, I think, what did you say? Insultingly low. I got it for $30 brand new, less than 2 weeks after release. Thanks, Walmart. And Sonic Frontiers, man, Now, because remember, I'm around a lot of people who basically give this game and franchise in general a constant 24/7 blowjob on Twitter.com. For whatever reason, Twitter really thinks I want to know when people are like jizzing over Sonic Prime, as if it's going to be the second coming of Cartoon Christ. Spoilers, I will be amazed if Sonic Prime is half as good as Sonic Boom. But I would love to be wrong. But
I don't have high hopes for that.
It doesn't look good. The trailer did not look good. It really looked like something that would have come out 10 years ago, not like post-movie Sonic. Although, also, I'm not even comparing it to Sonic Boom. I'm more comparing it to, like, the Sonic movie of, like, yeah, Sonic looks like he's done better in this movie than in this dedicated show. Also, hashtag free Rouge. Free Rouge.
Well,
what's up with their outfit?
Well, I mean, that's fine to me, but why? What is she doing there in the first place?
You know what? Like, I wonder that. Like, even for the most minute things of like, I literally think Sega just uses Sonic characters when they just have no reason to be there. Like, why was Shadow in the Sonic Frontiers Twitter takeover? He's not in the game.
No, he's not.
He's not a part of the game. They could have had Sage. Why was Sage not answering? So they made Shadow marry someone on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, you roll the, like, you know what? Here's a not jokey question. Why was Big not there? Big is in the story before Shadow.
I don't know. Does John St. John still voice Big?
No, Big got recasted. Same with Knuckles.
Okay, because I know John St. John hated doing Big.
Really? I guess.
Well, yeah, because there's an interview where he says, like, they said do a dumb voice. You know, this character's very dumb. The very first voice he did, they're like, perfect. That's the voice.
I guess, like, my thing with it would just be, like, if you're known for being Duke Nukem, you would just want to do Duke Nukem's voice for the rest of your life, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
So yeah, as of now, I'm on the second island, and I got to, like, the first, meeting with Tails, and I've run around a little bit on there, but mostly I've spent 7 hours 100%ing the first island. And it's not even because, I want to 100% this game. This is how I play Sonic Frontiers. Alright, I'll check it out for 5 minutes. I'll do that. I should do that. Well, the map's almost filled out. I know there's something over there. I gotta do, I can't not get all the challenges on the, digital stages. Physically, I can't. The fact that, by the way, whoever designed the challenges clearly hates their job. The fact that World 1-2 is the hardest world that I've done so far out of those challenges, for the time trial, it's completely unbalanced, but, that's far from the game's biggest problems.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that I've heard that, people played the demo. 1-2's time trial was way too easy.
And they said, F you guys, we're going to crank it up really hard.
Yeah, well, because they were like, everybody complained that this was too easy, so we're going to,
Well, spoilers, Sonic Frontiers is still too easy. I'm playing it on hard, and I think I've died, twice. And it was both because I was fumbling over the controls. Although, shout out to the controls for being good when you mess with them in the settings. But the fact that in cyberspace they're not affected by those changes is also stupid. But that's that again. So it's the way I described it in my video talking about my Black Friday pickups. I still stand by. It's the best okay game I've played all year.
Yeah,
it's got the fact that I know people who are I'm amazed this was not nominated for anything for the Game Awards. I'm really. You, guys, we're playing the same game. You're dude, it got snubbed. No. It's, Patrick, I don't know if you saw, it's number 3 in the Game Awards player choice.
That's generous.
That's wild. People are Elden Ring, and then what's it? It's Elden Ring, Xenoblade, and then Sonic. I'm are we not seeing the steep decline in quality here?
Don't get me wrong, I love this game. but it is a mess.
It's the best. I think I should start by prefacing this. It is, without a doubt, the best Sonic game that Sonic Team has made since Generations.
Oh yeah,
I think it's which is a compliment and a disregard at the same time, because Generations was over a decade ago.
Yeah, well, and this uses content from Generation.
And animations. And sound effects.
Yes.
And assets. Yes. Although, shout out to them just stealing the fish from Phantasy Star Online 2. That was hilariously cheap of them.
Is that where they're from?
All of the fish, outside of the ones that are Sonic enemies, if you're wondering why do these fish look like they're from another fucking game, they're all taken directly out of Phantasy Star Online 2.
That's so funny.
It is... Honestly... The fact that allegedly this game has been in development for 3 years, I don't believe it. It doesn't feel like that, like... Okay.
No, I believe it because well, we were talking about this. Like, we thought this game was going to be delayed, and if it wasn't...
We were like...
Like, it would be a mess.
I mean, it is... But it is impressive the shape they got it in. Oh, by the way, this game on PlayStation 5, because you played PC and I played on PlayStation 5, this game defaults to 4K 30 on PS5.
It runs
awful.
Horrid
also,
in 4K.
Looks awful. It looks awful in 4K. Like, the rain effects, like, I'm playing this on a fucking PlayStation 5. I can't even imagine it on PC, but, like, I'm watching this and I'm having retroactive shame for other versions. I'm like, imagine how much uglier this looks on other systems. Like, it's not it's not a good looking game at all.
Well, like, and it's very poorly optimized. Like, even the PC version.
The recent patch this week did help, but like anytime it tries to do weather effects, I don't think they know how ugly it looks. Like, this game is the weirdest equivalent of one step forward, one step back. Of like, I feel like every compliment I can give it, I have another thing where I go, yeah, but that. So it's very weird. Of like, I'm glad that they like this formula for them. It can clearly go somewhere. Like, if they stick with this for whatever Frontiers 2, Electric Boogaloo, or something.
When have you ever known Sonic Team to go, yep, that's a good idea, let's improve upon that?
Yep, because don't forget, immediately after Generations was Lost World?
I thought it was Colors after that.
No, Colors was 2010. Generations was after Colors.
Oh, it was afterwards, okay. So yeah, I guess it would have been Lost World. And
either way, it would have either been Lost World or Boom, or even if we're being really nice, then Forces. Yeah, like remember when like Forces, we were just like, all you have to do is make Generations again. Yeah, because that's a good point. Speaking when a Sonic Team listened to the formula working, because like Sonic Generations could have just been Sonic Generations 2 with other games they referenced, and it would have been good. But then they didn't even do that.
Well, the funny thing is, Sonic Forces is kind of a half step too, where they're like, oh, you guys like Sonic Generations? Well, Classic Sonic is here.
Don't ask why, though.
Yeah, no.
Don't ask for any explanation on that.
And also, we're going, the little explanation that we give retcons Sonic Generations anyway.
Like, they couldn't even have just made it the same Sonic from Generations. Oh my god. Yeah, like... Also...
And then Sonic Frontiers goes and retcons that as well.
I mean, I'll say this. Sonic Frontiers, it's not as overly referential as Twitter made it seem. Like, some people on Twitter were definitely making it seem like the Family Guy of video games. But, like... I think it's fine. Like, you're not losing anything if you, like, haven't played anything. But, like, there are definitely moments where, like, I groan because, like, they're making references to things that don't... Like... At least for me right now, and I am early, I've not had a reference where I was like, that's cool. Like, for me, I mean, I'm also a stupid fan. Like, for them to make a reference that's a deep cut where I would, like, lose my shit, Sonic and Sonic Frontiers would have to straight up just look at the camera and say, I'm starved, I can't wait to get Olive Garden after this. I'd have to hear that to laugh.
That would be great. I think you've just started the second island,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think you will be impressed with what they do of Tails because like they handle his horrible story arc that he's had over the years very well. They make it seem like it wasn't just they were starting from zero every time. Somehow they actually managed to make his character evolution make sense, which is a monumental task. Because boy, his character has sucked.
Is it like? Is it at least not making him the joke punching bag of all I am is just your weird stalker sidekick?
Well, like they address that, yeah. But I mean, the thing is,
Do they address the Sonic Adventure shower? That's what I need to know.
No, they don't.
Darn it!
But I mean, like, I'm very surprised that they took his character arc, which is just constantly like, oh, I can be myself. I can't do anything without Sonic now. Now I can be myself. And no, now I can't do anything without Sonic again. You know, they actually made that make sense.
Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Outside of the comics, they've never really like tackled that with Tails. He's been very one-dimensional.
Yeah, so I was impressed with that. But I don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't know. It felt like it might just be a coincidence, but like when they were writing this game, they're like, "Hey, you know what people like? Persona. Let's just make this game have social links, but not call them that, but they're pretty much that." You know what I mean? Because like all of the interactions are just.
There's a lot, by the way. On that first island, I thought maybe you interact with Amy like 3 times. Like you can.
No, it's a lot.
There's a lot, but it is weird. Of like, I don't feel like it progresses anything. Of like, I don't feel like I'm learning. Like
it definitely doesn't.
Oh, by the way, you've got to agree with me on this. The Cucco were clearly thrown in the last 6 months of the game's development. There is no voiced like anything with them. The Elder's not voiced. Even Sonic talking to the Elder or the like Elder's brother isn't voiced. Like all of that seems so thrown in last minute. Like oh god, we've got to fill out this world. All right, throw in a bunch of collectibles.
I don't know, because like in the story, they fit in really well, and you couldn't have it without them.
Okay, sorry, like them as collectibles, I feel like was thrown in last minute because like yes, there are voiced cutscenes, but like there's more voiced cutscenes about them with the ancients. It's never just about them. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me that Sonic can actually talk to any of them. Because it feels like they should be like these mysterious beings from the past that only the people in cyberspace can communicate with. Because in the cutscenes that are voiced, that's what they are. Like, you know, only Amy or Tails or whatever can understand them. But when Sonic goes and talks to the Elder, he can understand them just fine.
Also, how do you feel about the voice acting? I feel like there was clearly a want for a new direction. Like, I'm fully in the camp of when Roger Craig Smith said he was done with Sonic, they had someone else who was going to do Sonic for this game.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Because his change is so drastic, while no one else is that different. Eggman's the same, Amy's the same, Tails is the same. Like
Knuckles is a little different.
Knuckles is fully
actor.
Knuckles is fully casted and just has. I mean, obviously, we were blessed with Idris Elba. Like following up Idris Elba as a new Knuckles, I don't envy anyone having to do that. So it's. New Knuckles is incredibly like fine. Like he's not bad, but like he's I don't think he's going to be remembered, and especially after having so many years of Sonic Boom Knuckles, who like Travis killed it as Knuckles. Was Travis ever Knuckles before Boom? Yeah, because he was Knuckles in Generations and Forces and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
everybody in Boom had been the voice for a while.
Oh, by the way, shout out though to Forces for at least making Boom canon, which makes no sense in any world.
You mean Frontiers?
Sorry, yes. The fact that Frontiers makes Boom canon, or at least characters from Boom canon, makes literally no sense at all.
I think I know why they did that.
Well, because people like the cast, like because it was because like people like
but...
Styx being in it. Like Styx should be a real Sonic character.
But I think they did that because they made the comics canon, and Styx is in the comic.
Oh, all right. I am not honestly like I'm not. I've read some of the IDW, but I definitely was way more active in the Archie days.
Because they mention in Frontiers, they mention Tangle, which has only been a comic character.
Honestly, it could have been someone in like the second 3DS Sonic Boom game, and I would have believed you.
Well, that's fair, but
yeah. So like, I think the referencing stuff is fine, but like, also the story feels like the cast they chose feels really weird. Like, I don't mind Sage. She's actually in it more than I would have thought. Like, you interact with her way more on the first island than I would have ever thought you did. But, like, the fact that I know it's literally only Amy, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, big, whatever. Shout out, though, to whoever... Because I did have one minor spoiler, which this is not really a spoiler, but it's just funny. When you realize the end of the game, this happens. And, like, I don't know if, Patrick, you had this when you rolled credits. My friend just texted, he said, I'm laughing so hard. It was like, what happened? I beat Sonic Frontiers, and they just fucking left Big there. Like, he's not part of it. He's just stuck in the fishing dimension for all time. By the way, they brought Big. They couldn't even be fucked to bring Froggy back. Like, Froggy didn't die. You could have at least brought Froggy.
Well, what I want to know, okay, so we got a little animated short to tell us why Knuckles is there. Where's the little short to tell us why Big's there? Like, why is Big even there? Because
he says why. He says he found a good fishing spot and Froggy likes the stuff there, so that's why he's there for Froggy, which could explain why Froggy's not there. But like my whole thing is this of like, you could literally swap out Amy, Knuckles, and Tails for any Sonic friend. It could literally be Team Chaotix, and it would still be the same plot relevance.
I would love that.
But like, it goes to the thing of like, it's cool that it's a tighter group, but you're not used well. Like, it really feels like you could have literally just had a bunch of chows running around.
Well, and that's why like I made the like social link comparison, because it's like these characters are here and they're well developed, but their actual impact on the story is nothing.
Oh, by the way, whoever is out there saying that this game has well-animated cutscenes, I need you to look at any other video game. I've not seen one cutscene outside of a boss fight that had well-animated anything. The cutscenes of them talking are awful.
They have decent expressions, but, like, I don't know, after playing Xenoblade 3, like, those models have like the best expressions I've seen on like
I've seen zero
any game.
I've seen zero gall. I've seen a lot of gals, not a lot of gall.
But I don't know. I have seen a lot of people praising that too, and I don't quite understand it.
Oh, this is one I wanted to bring up with you. How do you feel about the music? Because I'll say this. It feels like a game 3 different composers made. and none of them talk to each other.
Yeah, really. I don't know. Like, I keep thinking, like, Breath of the Wild style music in the open world just seems weird for a Sonic game. But then I was thinking, like, do you want to hear the same Sonic song for, like, 5 hours?
If it was Crush 40, I would. I would hear Crush 40 on repeat. My thing is this. I think
I mean, okay, I love, any of the stuff from like Sonic Adventure 2, but I could not listen to any of those songs for like over 10 minutes.
I think it goes into this. The ambient tracks are good, but they never feel like they're adding to the sense of adventure. Ironically, like the world is very well designed and fun to run around. Like when you eventually get the map filled
Yeah.
out and you're like linking everything together, it's really fun to get from point A to point B, even if you're not doing any one particular task. But the music is just so background, like it fades in. Whereas, like I think of so many different, because I think there's the one song you're really hearing in the world a lot. Whereas, like with Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of moments with no music. And I think Sonic needed moments with rest, but like you're going so fast, it would almost be weird not to. So
I
it's
don't
a
know.
tough
I
one.
could see it. I could see it working because there's a lot of just noise that gets created by Sonic running. You can hear the footsteps and the little whoosh whenever you put the boost on and stuff. I could see that working.
Also, here's a weird one: the boost mode doesn't really affect the music like it does when you're in the like I always forget what it's called, like the metaverse
Oh, in
world.
the cyberspace?
Yeah, in cyberspace, like I like the theme of some of those songs, but unfortunately, the thing with cyberspace seems like this: cyberspace music has one of two effects. Oh, this is really good or catchy, or this I have no reaction. It just is no. It's weird they don't do any callback music. Like, why
Yeah.
would you bring Chemical Plant Zone and not bring the Chemical Plant Zone song?
It's one of the best songs in the whole series. Like, how can you not?
Also, even I've hit this point. This is embarrassing. How is cyberspace for world themes?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like,
It's just it's because that's what they had time to do.
well, I mean, yeah, we're also speaking about the game that spoilers everybody. There's 5 islands that are actually only 3 islands.
Yeah.
And like, by the way, did you? Because like when I 100%ed map 1, because I knew that the islands were split up weird, and like you're basically reusing the assets. When I 100%ed the map, the fact that it actually shows you that you're just not going to half of the map, I laughed out loud. It's like it's so so apparent.
I thought it was like, oh, there's the next section that
Nope.
I'm going to explore after I complete this part. Nope.
Now, I do want to start saying something positive though about this game. I laughed incredibly hard at Sonic just getting thrown the fuck out by that first Titan into that wall. He should be dead. Sonic should 100% have just died from that throw, and the rest of the game is just a coma for him.
Well, have you fallen off of any of the towers? I'm shocked that there's no fall damage from that.
No, yeah, I haven't actually. No, I've not fallen yet.
Well, you will. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, because what is it? Island 3? That's apparently just nothing. No, is it Island 3 or 4? That's like nothing but towers.
It's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 is nothing but towers. Believe me, you will fall off of those a couple times. You definitely
The only
will.
ones I know like that I've been warned about is Island 4 is nothing but towers, and somewhere before the end of the game is a pinball minigame people hate.
Alright. Well, from our earlier conversation today,
You're flexing your pinball skills.
I'm pretty good at pinball. I am shocked that people had a hard time with that.
Okay, that's what I thought it was going to be. Because honestly, when I looked at what it looked like, I was like, this doesn't seem that hard. But hey, maybe in context. So
Because like I never lost a ball. It was just I just played for like 10 minutes and then I got to move on. I was really confused and people were like, "This is super hard. Why do we have to do this?" And it's like I mean, okay, the physics aren't the best, but I have played way worse pinball games.
Here's another weird one that's like a compliment, but it's a question too. I would love to know why they wanted to put combat into this game. Like they put a weirdly large amount of combat and thought into it than I would have ever thought for a game that's idea of parrying is just holding down a guard button.
it's so weird, but outside of the parrying, because that is just
It's not even
why
bad.
even
It's
put
just
it in
lazy.
there
It's
that,
literally
yeah,
just. It shouldn't even called it a parry. They should have just called it the reflect button.
yeah, really. But yeah, like if you're gonna, if I feel like there's probably a version of that game where you actually have to parry things, and they're like, no, 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 that's too hard.
Yeah, I could have believed that as like that's something they had in an earlier build, and they were like, no, the babies can't do the parries, so we gotta take the parries and make it a hold. But
Yeah, but the combat
it's very
works
flashy.
so
It's
well.
like the most. It's like the best Sonic combat has ever looked or felt. Like all the moves, like there are a ton that are cheesy and like super cheese, like moves you can cheese, like the whatever the hold down L2 button move is, where you just like kick out energy blasts. Like that's incredibly like just like cheesy or whatever. But like every move looks great. I love the Phantom Rush. I like the zigzag move. I like basically anything when you're supersonic, like that stuff feels fun.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff, like they did a really good job of fighting, because like Sonic combat, I'm sorry to break this news to anybody who might not know, is not fun when all you're doing is jump homing attacks. That's not fun combat.
No, that's why like I don't understand when people say like, "Oh, Sonic Heroes is my favorite," and it's like that was your first game, wasn't it?
You played the first mission and you never did anything else apparently.
Because like uh, it was so bad. Even like when you switch to strength character and now they're punching or whatever. Like, oh, okay, so I just jam one button for a whole bunch of
Yeah,
times.
like really the robot's the only one in Sonic Heroes I thought was played any differently. Everyone else you could basically do the same stuff with.
Yeah, it was. It's not a bad game, but
It's no Adventure 3. It's clearly, yeah, it's not.
definitely no Adventure 3. Yeah.
So, like for you though, because like, again, you've played way more than me, and you've really enjoyed it. Like, what were the things that kind of stood out to you that you really liked about it after rolling credits? Because I'm assuming, like, did you 100% everything or just do a normal playthrough?
So I 100% of the first island because I was really lost at where to go next. Because it was like I did just a crazy out of order. I didn't really follow the guide at all. I just, I encountered a thing and if I could do something with it, I did. And I somehow 100%ed it, and I actually haven't, didn't talk to Amy yet, like at all. So I had probably like 15 minutes of talking with Amy before I got to finish the island. But then after that, like, I just kind of, I don't know, I mostly followed what it told me to do, and it seemed to work pretty good. I enjoyed it that way too, but every once in a while I'd go off the beaten path. But to me, it's just the open world is so good.
Yeah,
Like it's just the way Sonic feels a majority of the time is just so much fun. Like, don't get me wrong, still feels like a Sonic Team game, and there are moments where it is janky as hell.
Did you have a learning curve in the
Especially when
beginning?
it goes into 2D.
Did you ever like? I hate, and I don't know if they could fix it or if they'd even want to. I'd heard about it through like reviews, but I didn't know until I got my hands on the controller how much I hate how much jumping kills your momentum. Like, I don't know who came up with it, but the whole thing of, like, you really have to learn how to control your speed without jumping, because it kills everything.
Well, what they really want you to do, it seems like, is the jump dash. Which once I started doing that, I was having a lot more fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it got better, but like it was that thing of like, especially when I was playing the like supersonic like, Jesus, every time the cyberspace stages, like every time I like started those, I was like, I feel like I'm boosting wrong, because I never felt like I was gaining speed. But
when you selected, the start of the game, what control scheme did you pick?
I did the classic Sonic, like not action. I want whatever a Sonic game should feel like one. So I have...
So the high speed.
Yeah, I
okay.
have high speed as my thing, and all my options are all maxed out.
Okay. Well, you did. Okay. So that was gonna be what my thought was to why you felt that way. But I never had a problem with that. My problem is that whenever you use the light speed dash, you would just completely stop.
Yes,
at the end of that.
Which sucks because I used to really like Lightspeed, but I feel like in this game I almost, unless it's one where I have to, or I can't progress unless I do a Lightspeed. Yeah. It's that thing of no, I don't want to lose that momentum from doing a Lightspeed. Even the air ones, it just feels like you come to a complete stop.
Well, and that's one of the things I remember from Sonic Adventure 2 loving so much. When you got really good at the game and you knew the timing for the Lightspeed dash and all that, and it made your run so much faster, and it felt cool because you'd skip a whole bunch of the stage and go on a different path or whatever. You really don't get that in this game with that, and you don't. It's called the light speed dash, and it slows you down.
Well, it's been a while since I've actually played a game with the light speed dash in it where it works like this. And I'm sure I could rebind it. Maybe it's on L3 by default. That feels like a really that feels like a really awkward place to put it when you have all those other buttons you could use for it.
Well. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you played Sonic Adventure 2?
Oh my god, literally on the GameCube.
Okay. So something you may not remember, Lightspeed Dash was mapped to the B button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm used to it kind of being in that position.
Right, but what else was mapped to the B button?
Also your jump. No, sorry, not jump. Your homing dash or whatever.
Nope. So it was actually the roll, which made you go to a complete stop.
Yes, okay.
So if you screwed up the Lightspeed dash, you got the exact opposite. You stopped. Just completely. And the fact that it actually has a dedicated button, even with the placement that it's in, is so much better than it's been in any other game. Because it's always shared a button with another action. That's always how it's been. So it actually has a dedicated button this time. Is really, really good.
Well, I guess if it was its own dedicated button, I wouldn't mind. But because it's on the stick, I don't like as much as that.
But what button would it be? Because
L2?
It uses. Okay. You know what? No, but that's
That's for combat.
Yeah, that's for combat. I'm trying to remember what that does.
Gaslight me, Sonic fan. Oh, so here's another odd one. Did you like the length? Because I've been surprised that already on Island 1, I've done more than it would take for me to beat both Sonic Forces and Sonic Colors. It is surprisingly long.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty satisfying. When I finished it, I didn't go, "Where's the rest?" I was, I was plenty satisfied. I said that when I played Forces. I was like, "Oh, it's over?
Where's the rest?"
Where's the rest? Yeah, because especially in Forces where it's are you gonna actually answer any of the questions that you left open in the plot, how the hell did any of this happen? No? Oh, okay.
Don't worry, Episode Shadow will fix that, I'm sure.
No, it didn't.
We kind of talked about this a little bit, but obviously I haven't beaten it, but for sure though, this game does definitely leave more questions than answers, although I will say, because I did get warned, and I have been using the egg memos, which, by the way, great addition, but why are they it's the only collectible in the game you have to get through fishing.
Man, that's the only reason I fished was to get those.
Like, well, I mean, I did the fishing for the trophy. By the way, it seems like a very doable achievement list. Does not look hard at all, which I appreciate. Like, there's no get all the cuckoos or whatever, but like, because like all the other collectibles you can buy from Big are ones that you can organically find in the world. Like, no offense, what a boring game this would be if this is how you start the game. You get the game, beeline it to Big's fishing spot. You get all the keys you need, and then you can go to the final boss fight. Like that's all you do. Like that seems so boring. Of just like
but you can legit do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's interesting that's an option, but I'm like, fishing is more it takes up less time, but it's not that much more exciting because like it's a fine fishing game, but like it's literally more simplistic than even the Persona 5 one. And Persona 5 is a pretty goddamn simple fishing game. Yeah,
but like it doesn't matter where you place your line. You just you throw it in, and a fish will get it.
Yeah, like it's really doing that thing of trying to trick you into thinking you're doing something. But like,
yeah, and I mean, really the only part of the fishing game that's actually a game is the little quick time event. That's it.
But yeah, it goes back to the thing though, like you said, at the end of the day, the thing this game does best is thankfully the thing you do the most. The open world is the life-saving factor of this game of like, this is the most fun.
Yeah, so I will say, I didn't hate the cyberspace stages.
No, I've had none that were offensive. Like, they're always fun to go through, but my problem is they are so cookie-cutter and use so many... Like, they don't feel like homages. They just feel like we copy and pasted an asset in from generations. Like, that, they don't feel bad, but they don't feel good.
Well, and the weird thing is, there are stages that are unique. And they're pretty good. And like, why? Well, I mean, time is probably the answer.
I bet there's a great...
Why aren't there more of them?
I bet you, Patrick, there's a great documentary about this game. It'll never get made, but I bet you there is such a interesting like thing of Team Sonic having to make this game under quarantine and what the hell happened over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see. I mean, like, I know there's probably going to be a what happened video, which might answer some of those questions.
No offense to Matt McMuscles. I've never watched a what happened outside of, like... Okay, sorry. I've never seen a what happened where he doesn't talk to a dev or someone who worked on the game, where it actually explained why it was a failure. Like, my biggest call-out to that was when he did the one on Digimon Survive, the whole thing was based around the fact that he thought Digimon Survive tanked. It's like, no, Digimon Survive was one of the top 10 best-selling games in all of July. Like, the game sold fine. It had development fucking forever, but like...
Well, I mean, he does put successful games on there, but you're right. Like, he does talk in the video like it's failed.
Yeah, so like
several times.
I like what happened. It's a very fun thing, but like What happened would be 10 times more interesting if you did have that thing of, let's talk about, like, what was the most recent one he just did? Because it was actually of talking to a dev about it. Oh, my brain is fucking fried today. But, like, he has examples of, like, talking about games and stuff of, like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about, like, the dude who worked on Turok Evolution or something. Like, when it's stuff like that, yeah, that's really nice because you're getting an insight from someone who worked on it. But, yeah, like, when it's on the Japanese games, like, when he's talking about why does Mighty Number 9 suck so bad, a lot of it is just because it sucks. Because no one from Concept or Keiji Inafune is not talking to him.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious why that game didn't do well.
Yeah, it was the pizza. Oh, no, it was the prom night commercial. The prom night commercial is the reason that game bombed. Would it blow your mind if I said that game is somehow over 5 years old?
I actually kind of surprised it's that young, to be honest. I felt like it was older. I mean, it came out for the Wii U. It should be older than...
That's true.
Should be older.
Wii U games I always look at like, wow, that's cool. And then I realize how old the Wii... Like, when the Wii U turned 10 this year, I was like, fuck, I'm old. The Wii U made me feel older than the Vita. I think that's mostly just due to the fact that, like, I haven't picked up a Wii U tablet in, like, 5 years.
Well, the Wii U, what really made me feel old about that, it's like I bought the Wii U in my fourth apartment. And it's like I have been living on my own for that long.
Oh my god.
Damn. That makes me feel old.
But to kind of bring it back to the Sonic thing, the reason I wanted to talk to somebody about this, because it is that thing of, I don't think there's been a lot of genuinely neutral conversations about this, of like, I feel like it's really easy to shit on this game, and it's really easy to overpraise this game, because I think it's really important at the end of the day to be like, this is good, but all of the problems could have and should have been fixed by Sega/Sonic team having more time and money.
Yeah, really, just like another maybe half a year in this game could have been incredible.
It's apparently selling well, so like I hope this goes to show that like we can finally lean into that, and like we don't get a follow-up anytime soon. Although then also leaning into like we're recording this literally on the day this just got announced, the content roadmap. Which do you want me to send you the picture for like all the stuff they have announced? Because like they're adding like literally a jukebox mode to listen to apparently all the. No, hold on. Are any of the songs they did in the like licensed commercials? Are there licensed songs in this game?
No.
So they just licensed the songs for the commercials and didn't actually put Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now" in?
Bro, that was like, I thought that was a fake ad that somebody made.
I also thought that was really bad
until I saw it in a movie theater.
Now that is a bad ad. Although if you want to see the worst Sonic Frontier ad, there was an ad on TikTok, and I forget this guy's name, although I probably shouldn't say his name anyway. But if you go on TikTok, there is a guy that Sega paid thousands of dollars to. By the way, whoever is doing TikTok brand deals at Atlus and Sega, please stop. They are all bad. Like they did a bunch for Persona, and they did a bunch for like Sonic Frontiers. But like, there's this one guy I keep getting on TikTok for Sonic Frontiers, where it is just him doing like the fucking white guy Carlton dance, and then he gets sucked into the TV, and he's doing that thing where he's putting himself into the game world, running with Sonic, but he's clearly just green screened on top of him while he's running alongside him or on the grind rail. Like it's actively offensive, the fact that anyone made this, let alone was paid to have made this. So
you're gonna have to link me.
I will. It's so bad. It
sounds incredible.
If it was made ironically, it would be funny. But like he's just got such a shit-eating grin the whole time because you know he got paid like $16,000 for it for no goddamn reason. But no, TikTok ads aside, I will say the Don't Stop Me Now thing did fuck me up until I realized something on Thanksgiving. Because guess what was playing at Mary's house when we came in? Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now," which was the introduction song to the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 movie. And I was like,
you're right.
That's why it was in here. Because that song, people were introduced to Sonic in the Sonic movie that made $1 billion with that song. Because that song has nothing to do with Sonic outside of him not stopping.
I mean, I was going to say, like, it's a better motto for Sonic than "Gotta Go Fast."
I think more people would have appreciated them just ripping the Sonic X song for a commercial. Oh, by the way, speaking of dumb Sonic things, really dumb aside, did you see what Disco Tech Media is doing with Sonic X?
I mean, they're releasing it on Blu-ray?
They are releasing it in English on Blu-ray, and for the first time ever, releasing the Japanese version on Blu-ray in the West.
Yeah, they've been really good about releasing stuff like that. When they get something, we're going to release every version of it that we possibly can.
I am praying with all of my fingers and toes crossed that after Digimon comes out next month, that they'll announce they're going to do a Blu-ray release of the first Digimon movie by Fox. Can you imagine that movie on Blu-ray? You know they'd have to keep the Angelomon in.
Oh, yeah. I wonder, do you release that on one Blu-ray that has, all three movies that got spliced into the Digimon movie on the same disc? Like, would that even
Yeah,
fit?
because the way they're doing the Digimon anime is they're doing the Japanese release separate than from the English dub release. So you'd have to do it like basically as two different releases. Which honestly, for me, I know they're incredibly different. I would much rather watch the North American Digimon movie than watch all three OVAs back to back to back.
Oh, I don't know. Like, you can say that ironically.
I don't.
But...
I'm not saying it. I unironically love the fact that out of nowhere in the second Digimon movie, fucking Kairi is just like, "Hey, at the same time as we were doing this, some guy in Colorado named Willis had the same thing going on. How weird is that? I hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass later. Oh my god." Who would have thought we're going to have to go to Colorado for this adventure? The Digimon movie. The Digimon movie should. The Digimon movie should unironically be included in a Criterion Collection one day. Like, it's one of the most wide. Like, I've never seen a movie that was made from 3 other movies. It's like, it should not work. It doesn't work, but it still kind of works.
I mean,
there's a 20-minute Patrick. There's a 20-minute segment in the Digimon movie that's just babies blowing on whistles as kaijus fight. That's the opening of that movie.
Well, I'd say, like, really, it feels like a clip show. You know, like a clip show movie.
With, like, the most beautifully animated middle segment of all time for no reason. Like, I don't think people realize, like, that middle segment of them going into the internet, that still looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like, those movies, you know, well, the first two, well, the OVA, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. They look really good, but, like, I don't know. If I really want to watch that, I'll just pop Summer Wars in.
Or Bella. Is it Belle or Bella? But is
that the new?
Yeah.
Is that the new one you did?
That's the new one by the same director. I haven't seen it yet, but I've been told it's just Summer Wars again.
But like, it looks like it was about like
an idol singing online.
Like it was it looked like it was an idol.
Listen, the guy found his niche. He can make the same movie again, so good for him. At some point, we're just going to have his 4th movie just be all 3 of his movies edited together.
And then the soundtrack Smash Mouth.
See, I love that you think Smash Mouth. I always go Bare Naked Ladies. Every time, like, okay, here's a little. Tell me if you think this is cringy or funny, everybody. So when I was applying for panels at TaiyoCon, you always have to do like, what do you want the booklet instruction to be? And Digimon just turned 20. I think either the anime or the series. One of the two just turned 20. So I applied for a Digimon panel, and my opening was,
it's been
literally all caps. It's been more than a week since Digimon premiered over 20 years ago. And I thought, if someone knows that, like, because, like, for me, when I think of the Digimon movie, I think of Bare Naked Ladies, it's been 1 week since you looked at me.
I mean, to be fair, that is more out of place than All-Star. So I see why you think of it first. Mm-hmm. Because, like, at least All-Star, you can kind of be like, oh, yeah, it's like
Did Digimon do All-Star before or after Shrek?
I'm pretty sure that was before.
So, really, Shrek is just a carbon copy of the Digimon movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Shrek release date. I think Shrek was, like, 2002? Or 2001. Yes, Shrek was April 22nd, 2001. And the Digimon movie... Yeah, 2000. Oh, my God. Now, can you think of a more clickbaity YouTube video? Is Shrek just a cheap copy of the Digimon movie? Over the next 30 minutes, we'll discuss.
That will get the most angry comments from people who haven't watched the video ever.
Who's the bigger fan base? Smash Mouth fans who like Shrek, or Smash Mouth fans who only like Digimon?
The ones who unironically like Smash Mouth, probably Digimon fans.
Now, I don't know if I've told you this before, but have I told you that I unironically freaked out when the Digimon trading card game did Adventure 2 cards, and they included Willis from Colorado?
I think you did mention that.
Someone from Toei had to draw Willis. Because, like, he wasn't a dude from the show.
Wait, they didn't just make a screenshot?
No, it is new Willis art.
Whoa.
And, of course, he was green. Because Colorado was weed. So that's why they had to make him green.
Totally.
But you know what else doesn't involve weed? Our final topic in this incredibly long Neurodivine show. But before we do that, we don't have a word from our sponsor. But I at least want to wrap up the Sonic thing with, if you had to think of like a Twitter-sized review summary for someone comes up to you and they're like, I'm kind of into what you're into, but I have not been following Sonic Frontiers at all. They're like, Patrick, what did you think of Sonic Frontiers? Like, what would you tell them?
I'd say it's the best Sonic game in like.
But then they're just going to say that doesn't mean much.
Okay, well, fair. All right.
This is the best CC's buffet you'll find it within 100 miles. Like, what does that mean?
No, now you've made it tough, because that was
my whole selling point. It's the best game in the last 20 years.
Yeah. I'll say it's the best, like, evolution of Sonic. Like, it's a really good new direction for the series. Like, if you want to see them trying something different, and it actually works.
So, because for you, obviously, you and I grew up with Adventure. Were you always into the boost mechanic years, or like, how did you feel about the boost years we had?
God, I was really, my love for Sonic wavered quite a bit during that time.
I've noticed zero Sonic Unleashed merch in your house. That is a good point.
Yeah. Well, because like, I didn't have an Xbox at the time, but I didn't play 06. Thankfully, I dodged that bullet. And I played the one for Wii.
Secret Rings or the...
Yeah, Secret Rings.
Gotcha.
I played Secret Rings. I hated it.
I don't think you'd like the Black Knight much more.
Couldn't stand it. Yeah, I mean, I hear people saying good things about it, but I don't know. Those people also say, like, well, Secret Rings wasn't that bad. And, like, I don't trust you. You don't have good taste. I'm sorry. And that just burned me so hard. And I didn't really like Heroes that much either. So, like, I was pretty burnt out on Sonic. And then people were like, please play Colors and Generations. They're so good. And I did, they were pretty good. But I still, like, I don't know. I still feel like the whole boost mechanic itself is never really that well utilized. Like, it either just makes the game way too easy or way too hard, and there's like no in between.
Did you play Colors again last year with Ultimate?
I played it on the Wii.
Okay.
Again, like a couple years ago. And it really didn't hold up.
No, that's what I was gonna say. When I reviewed it, I was amazed how it did not hold up at all. I was like, "Oh, this is."
Well, because I went back and played a lot of the Sonic games when the movies came out, and like I replayed pretty much all of them that I owned at the very least, and so that's excluding the ones I just mentioned, like Unleashed in 06 or whatever. But I pretty much played everything else, and man, most of the games held up. Even Forces was kind of fun, but I don't know, man. Like Colors, it's just...
I'm at least glad Generations held up. When I went back and played Generation, because I tried it on Series X, because like they have the patch that lets it play in like 4K 60. I was like, Thank God that at least helped, because like everything else was just like, eh.
Yeah, Generation's still pretty good. Like, I mean, it's not perfect, but not every game can be Sonic Mania, so
Well,
we
yeah, I
excuse it.
mean, the devs behind Sonic Mania have an uh, incredibly like big honor. Honestly, it was it was honestly the biggest honor of they did such a good job that they cucked the developer into never working with Sonic ever again or Team Sonic ever again.
Seems that way.
Like it's one of the most amazing things that they made a game so good, and then the DLC was even better. They fucking brought back goddamn Ray.
Yeah.
Ray and Mighty, I'm sorry. Like, they brought back the most obscure arcade callback thing ever in a good way. Great updates, worked well on, was beautiful and everything. Goddamn, they brought back Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine and no one was mad. Like, they did the impossible, and then Sega's response to that was just like, and we will never work with you again.
It's funny. It feels like Yuji Naka still is in charge of the Sonic games. Because he saw that like that's the kind of thing that he would do. It's like, oh, you made a better Sonic game than me?
I'll say that I
sure
forget
that
the dude's name.
happens
Who's the
again.
producer who's literally been the producer for like almost like 20 years now? Who does...
Was that Izuka?
Yeah, I think it is Izuka. I don't think he's what makes Sonic Frontiers good. Like, he to me, like, when he talks about Sonic, I'm like, I don't think you know what makes this game good. Like, it's honestly, to me, like, Frontiers kind of feels like it's kind of dumb luck that it did turn out as good as it did.
Well, I'm wondering, like, how much of Sonic Team, like, that made the most recent games even worked on it. Because, like, I don't even think Jun Sunue actually made music for the game.
No, he did not. Which, again, the people who are mad, like, guys, in a year with this much amazing music, like, I'm sorry, nothing from Sonic Frontiers, at least so far to me, like, you can correct me because you've heard the whole thing, like, nothing in this year has been like, yeah, this is gonna beat Xenoblade. Like, no. Like, not even God of War has any music that's not as good. Like, God of War's music is, like, pretty safe, and even that's still really, really fucking good. Although, obviously, Bear McCreary, like, fucking kills it. But, like, this year had so much good music. I would fucking say Monarch had a better soundtrack than Sonic Frontiers. And I'm not even shitting on the music. I'm just saying this was a great year for music.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where, like, Sonic Frontiers, like you said, like, there's, like, 3 different composers, and...
None of them knew what any of them were doing. There was no theme or tone.
No, I mean, like, the only one that really works well in the game that is memorable to me is just the supersonic themes. They're not my kind of music, I will say.
You're not going to be jamming out to the Titan battle songs driving to work tomorrow.
No, but, like, man, in the moment, they are so good. Like, they are perfect for that gameplay style. But everything else in there is so mismatched. But I don't know what would be a better match, is the problem.
I'll say this. I think it's the biggest testimony in a good way for both of us is we are both now more excited than we would have been for the next Sonic game. Like,
absolutely.
Like now, when the next mainline Team Sonic game comes out, I will say I am more... Because, like, every time we talked about Sonic Frontiers, was there ever a moment I sounded excited through any of the time? Like, I've been so down on Sonic games this year because we had nothing to believe that it was going to be good.
No, oh, absolutely. And, like, before reviews started coming out for it, impressions and stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this on sale. You're not
getting the digital deluxe edition
great.
for the $70 Boots DLC.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to do that. But then people started saying, like, no, it's really good. You should check it out. And I bought it day one, and granted, like, I don't listen to the people who are just like, oh, it's the most fantastic game ever. Like, the people I listen to for Sonic opinions are Dave Luddy and Cybershell. Like, those are the only 2 people's opinions that matter.
The Lore Master, I've heard.
But which one?
No, Cybershell. Didn't on the Twitter thing they called him the Lore Master? Keeper of the Lore.
Yes. Yeah. Now, granted, his video didn't come out until after I played it, but like Dave Luddy, who has been critical of the game the entire time, actually said really good things about it. So
yeah, and I mean,
that was enough.
And again, I think another big takeaway: neither of us are like regretting our time we've played with it. Like I don't think I would have bought it at $60 just because there were so many other great games coming out. But like picking this up on sale was great. It's still on sale in a lot of places. Like at $60, I don't know if I would have recommended it myself. Maybe that could have changed with it. But like if you're jonesing for something like that or something different, it does that well enough for you to not like feel any regret after it's all said and done.
Before I forget and we move on from Sonic Frontiers, there is something I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because you haven't finished the game, I'm curious to what you think Sage is.
Oh, well, I've listened to enough memos that I now know who it is, because there's no limit to the memos. You could just buy all of them. So I know what.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. So I guess you do know.
So yeah, I know she is. She's yeah. I know what she really is.
Okay.
No spoilers. Sonic spoilers are on the table.
Yeah, no, that because I'd be curious what your thoughts are on that, but
I think it's interesting. But one of my complaints with the game so far, and I don't think it's going to get remedied from what I've heard. I actually would like more cutscenes with Eggman.
Yeah. But I always want more with him.
That's true. He does steal the show. Imagine if that voice actor changed. Then we would be rioting.
Some very big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, speaking of Sonic Prime coming out next month, they're changing their Eggman. Although everybody's different in that one, so that's less egregious. All right. We were going to talk about Soul Hackers 2's momentous Game of the Year saving patch for 9 minutes, but then I realized we spent the last almost 2 hours doing this, and I actually have to get called out. No, I actually did get called. I need to run an errand soon. So, I'm going to at least say for me, PSA reminder everybody, Soul Hackers 2 got a patch, quality of life changes. I did a big stream. I will probably go back and do some more streaming once I catch up on some other games, but we're still so behind. But I wanted to, because I've not actually talked Soul Hackers 2, if at all, very much with you at all, Patrick. So, like, how are you feeling about the new patch? How much had you played before the patch? And how are you feeling about the game now?
So, like, I really enjoyed the game from the get-go anyway. Like, it didn't need the patch to be good.
Well...
But...
It did need the patch, but yes, it was still a good game before the patch came out.
But I'm also in the camp that like Tokyo Mirage Sessions is one of the best things that Atlus has made. So, of course,
I'll say I've never had a harder question by fans than when I finally started getting asked, "What do I like more, though, TMS or Soul Hackers?" Like that's a genuinely hard question.
TMS.
It is, which is a shame because there are things Soul Hackers I like better that Soul Hackers does, but I think Soul Hackers is the tighter, better product at the end of the day.
Well, okay, so Soul Hackers 2 has better writing, and a lot of I said the gameplay, like the battle gameplay, is better, but the dungeons.
Yep.
And just the overall polished feel of TMS is so much better. And that's what pushes it over the edge for me. And also I'd say like more memorable music. Like there are good music themes in Soul Hackers too, but I don't feel like there's enough music in that game. It's like, thank God it has the music DLC because it feels like there's not that much in the game at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. So you had completed a playthrough before the patch, right?
Oh, yeah. Weirdly enough, I don't know what I did wrong to not get the best ending. And, like, I replayed it even, like, the last 5 hours or whatever, and did the things I was supposed to do, and still got the same ending. But I was, I was like, you know what? I know there's extra stuff in New Game Plus, and there's a patch coming out now, so I'll just wait for that
Yeah,
and get
honestly,
the better ending that way.
playing New Game Plus with the patch after playing so much New Game Plus for the Platinum on the original launch code, it is so much more enjoyable that I'm like, God, I'm really glad I didn't double Platinum this at launch. Like, I'm glad I Platinumed it, but it was really sloggy in New Game Plus compared to now, where it is just like playing. It's like when you play those RPGs like on an emulator and just have like 100 times speed.
Right.
It is absolutely crazy.
I will say, like, the thing that I really appreciate about Soul Hackers, though, is like there's a lot of little touches that show that like the devs really liked working on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like there's a lot of love in this game. The one that really like surprised me is if you look at the comps, well, except for Ringo's, it looks like everybody's comps have Sega Saturn buttons on them.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And it's weird. I haven't seen anybody talk about that.
Well, famously, I think only 10 people in America own the Saturn, so that might be why.
That's probably true. But like little details like that really surprised me because there's lots of little like weird little references like that with the I don't know, like there's McCoy's weird line or McCoy, I guess you'd say, where his line was like he just came back from Istanbul, I think it was.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which is like a reference to a comic.
Yeah, it's a lot of really, really obscure stuff.
Yeah,
which again you would kind of expect being a sequel to an extremely obscure game from 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I see a lot of people saying like it retcons things or it just doesn't understand stuff from the first Soul Hackers.
Well, they were at least smart enough to do it so many hundreds of years in the future that nothing is going to be that inherently affected.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to see SMT get back to like its cyberpunk, do another cyberpunk like game. Because it fits the series so well, and they just kind of don't do it anymore.
And also, again, can't reinstate it enough. Nice to have a game with just adults, all adults again. Is very fun.
Well, and I feel like they're probably some of the best written Atlus characters in a while.
Yeah, I mean everybody in there, ironically, outside of like RS, like no one in there. I was like, you could have removed them.
I don't get what is up with RS. Like, he feels so out of place.
He's impeccably out of place. Like, he's got to be a joke at someone's expense I'm not aware of.
He's gotta be. Like, it's, when I replayed it, last week, I think it was, I started playing it again. And, like he still surprises me. It's just like how jarring it is, where it's just like, yeah, like Ringo has like some good quips and stuff, but like for the most part, it's fairly serious. And then RS comes out of nowhere, and that tone is never matched again. Mm-mm. Because you think it would be like, all right, this is a goofy, fun game now, right? Like this is one that makes lots of dumb jokes. It does not ever do that again.
No. Unfortunately, the freestyle rap begins and ends at the first chapter. So maybe in a weird like what if Bizarro world, like everyone had that level of insanity with it and it'd be like a Suda game.
You know what I feel like? He feels like he's from Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and they're like, we couldn't fit him in here, so we're just gonna throw him in Soul Hackers.
He's
instead.
like RS is like the Bizarro version of Barry. If Barry like didn't end up becoming an idol trainer, he would just have turned into RS.
I could kind of see that.
But unfortunately,
have I?
Oh yeah.
Have I ever told you? I did I mention to you? I think Barry's based on a real person.
Yeah, we talked. I forget who you said it was because I remember their name, but yeah, no, I definitely agreed with you. Of like, yeah, he definitely seems very pulled from reality.
For the people who are listening and don't know what I'm talking about, look up Any Metal is the name of the band. You know, like anime, but like with metal, Annie Metal. And their guitarist is pretty much
Barry
like
personified.
if he's not the influence for Barry, like that is a huge coincidence.
We should like reach out to him and be like, thoughts on Barry from Tokyo Brass Sessions, a 7-year-old game.
Yeah, I wonder. Like I wouldn't know how to reach either one of those parties. Well, I mean, I guess I'd know how to reach Atlus, but you know, they wouldn't respond.
No, they'd be like, "That's a Nintendo question. We can't answer that for you. It's not our game." But questions are the best way we usually end this show. Unfortunately, my only question is how on God's earth did 2 hours blow by so fast? So, Patrick, I'm gonna have to leave and do boring grown-up work, unfortunately. But I want to thank you for coming on the show and chatting with me about. I think we covered at least 90 topics and only planned on 2 of them.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I mean, we were going under the broad topic of Sega, and we kept on topic the whole time.
Yep. You know when you're looking up the release date of Shrek and Digimon, you're staying on topic for your Shin Megami Tensei podcast.
90% of the time.
But yeah, Patrick, where do you want to be found at the nearest VTuber signings and whatnot online? Where do you want people to find you?
Yeah, well, I have a Twitter that I feel like must be shadow banned because I don't get I get 1 like if I'm lucky on posts. And you know, people need to see me rambling about Samurai Maiden every single day.
Now, I think we talked about this last time.
Date.
Are you making more tweets than before? Because I remember last time we talked about your Twitter. You're definitely the retweeting a lot and liking a lot more than you are tweeting guy. Whereas like my thing is this, like I feel like I'm bad at liking other people's posts. Like I very rarely retweet. Whereas like I'm mostly just vomiting my own garbage up on Twitter. Whereas, like, the thing of, like, I see you pop up on my feed, but usually just through things you're sharing, rather than your own original ones. So, like, what do you... Are you doing more tweets now? Like, what can I do to bump your numbers up?
It's more like I'll go through, like... I'll have, like, a week where I just go nuts, and then I'll not post anything for months.
Which, by the way, probably would help if we said your Twitter is Persona Pat.
It is.
I'm gonna make a bold claim. We're gonna get you to at least 40 followers on Twitter by the time this episode posts.
I think I'm at like 30 something.
You're at 39. I'm guaranteeing you at least 1 follower from this episode is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But yes, we need to boost your numbers. So clearly, what you need to do is start tweeting about your Sega 32X collection more, and then I'll retweet them, and then it'll blow up.
Maybe that will do it. And that'll be the final push that will get me to
the big 4-0. Well, yeah, when's the Patrick VTuber arc starting?
It's a lot of work.
It is.
I will say there is a friend of mine who is having somebody design a model designed right now, and if that turns out well, I'll probably commission the same person.
It's not a friend that I know, is it?
Oh no.
You and I have a lot of mutuals who are VTubers now, though, so that's why I had to check.
Yes, we do. And strangely enough, the VTubers that I know all still go by their real names as well.
As they should. No cowards around.
I thought that was the against the rules.
Is there a VTuber rule book I'm not aware of?
I thought there was, but then just Kat just saw it and just ripped it right in half.
That's true.
Like it like it was
Well, maybe because Kat's not used to not be her real name, and now it is. Maybe that's why it counts.
maybe that. I guess that could work. I don't know, but I feel like she just breaks all those rules.
It's true.
Which
They
is
do call her the
good
Saul.
for her.
They do call her the Saul Goodman of VTubers. I've heard.
Yeah. So if you don't check out my Twitter, check out Cat's Twitch page instead.
Oh, the only VTuber I know who is also a trucker. I don't know any other VTubers who are truckers. That's all I'll say.
They should be.
All right. Well, I am desperately running late, so I want to at least say thank you to everybody listening. YouTube. Oh, shout out to the guy Contraband. He was like, "Hey, Spotify Wraps are going up." Like we were in its like top podcast. It's like I don't look at analytics for things like ever. So like you could tell me there were 5 people listening to us on Spotify, and it did make me look at it. It was like thankfully there are way more than 5. So it wasn't one of those funny things like I forget. Yeah, the podcast goes on Spotify because it's like I always think of YouTube, RSS feeds. iTunes, and then a couple other places. Like it's on Google Podcasts, I know, but like I don't know anyone who uses any of those. So like it goes hypothetically everywhere, but it's like one of those things I don't think of a lot. So it'd be like, oh man, I'm listening to you on Bandcamp right now.
Well, like I listen to on an app like called Podcast Addict, and I have no idea how it actually pulls stuff.
It basically
iTunes or
through Libsyn. I have it set up that any open podcast hosting platform can grab our feed and make it searchable. Is how it should work. So it should hypothetically be everywhere. The only ones I had to manually do were Spotify, because that was back when Spotify was being new and getting into podcasts and stuff. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to all the patrons and stuff out there. Thank you to everybody making this possible. But I've got to go and be a boring adult and FedEx something, as is my life. I left the FedEx, but the FedEx can never leave me behind, unfortunately. Patrick, what are you going to do for the rest of your night? Which hopefully will not just be sleep.
I mean, I'm probably going to go sleep right after this. But when I wake up, I just God, this is the most, like, I am now completely completed my arc of going from a console gamer to a PC gamer I have a liquid cooler RGB fan that I'm going to install into my computer.
See, you should like record that. That'd be a cool like time lapse to like see you like setting that up.
I mean, it wouldn't take that long. I mean, like
you're no Henry Cavill over here taking 9 hours to build a PC.
I will say though, like I recently put it in a new case, and that took like all day.
Well,
granted, I didn't.
Either way, I'll be excited. While I have very little interest in PC gaming myself, I do always enjoy like watching people upgrade their stuff because it is very, I don't know, it's very just like fun to watch it.
I could see that. Like I didn't get it before I started doing it, but once I did, I was like, I understand it now, and like I understand car guys now, like ripping it apart and tweaking it and placing out parts, making it run better. I get it.
I blame that on Top Gear and Gran Turismo. That's a big one for me. Well, I guess Need for Speed and Burnout were also big car pushers for me. But Patrick, we'll talk cars later. I've got to leave and unfortunately not sleep, but I've also got to stop stealing the rest of your day. But thank you for coming on and everybody listening. We will talk to you next week, as we're dangerously close to 300, and even more dangerously close to not knowing what we're doing for episode 300. So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.